Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my new video where we are going to go over 5 tips that I think every single Tristana player needs to know. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is Lolfit. I do tip videos, guide videos, and I also stream over on Twitch and have my own Discord if you would like to contact me directly with any questions. I try to be as interactive as possible to kind of separate me from some of the other bigger channels. I try to my absolute best to help you guys climb with these videos and with this channel as a whole. Now, I am limited with this format and only doing 5 tips. So if you're an experienced Tristana player, I would greatly appreciate you leaving your tips down below and just kind of create a forum of helping people out, because that is the goal of this channel, to help people climb out of the low elo. Now, with the Tristana mid pick being more of a flavor of the month, I'm going to gear this a little bit more towards mid, but I think ADC players will still get a lot out of this video as well. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Okay, and jumping into tip number 1, I really want to talk about Tristana's all-in at level 3. I think this is where you can cheese out a lot of low-level kills where people do not expect you to be able to kill them, particularly in the mid lane when you are running Ignite and you have solo lane experience. Now, how I want you guys to approach this is looking for windows of power with Tristana. She is extremely strong and can be played like an assassin. If you look at her kit, she has things very similar. She has a gap closer similar to a Talon gap closer. She has a slow on her W similar to the W slow on Talon. She has a big burst ability similar to the Q on Talon, and then she has a steroid which Talon does not have, or you can consider his passive as steroid, giving you a little bit more all-in damage. So how you want to look to approach these all-ins is, say this is a Xerath and he throws out his E, or he's doing Q and W's on the minions. You want to look for that window of power where they do not have abilities and all they have left is attack power, or all they have left is their auto attacks. This is a window where you really can punish, even if you are at a health differential. This is where you would just pop in and get your combo off, right? Try and really time these all-ins to the opportune moment, and just make sure that you have a decent understanding of your lane opponent before you go in. If you do not know the champion you're playing against and you're kind of new to the game, maybe check out League Wikipedia and see if it's an auto attack based champion or more of an ability based champion. If you have any questions about matchups, I'd love to help you out. But really, I'm going to hammer this home with you guys. You need to be playing Tristana as an all-in champion. She works extremely well in the bot lane with things like Leona and Nautilus and Blitzcrank because of her very strong all-in damage. And if people want to take a full trade with you, your explosive charge getting fully stacked up is going to do an insane amount of damage in the early game, particularly if you're running Press the Attack. So, again, with ability-based champions, always look for their windows of power. They're going to be exceedingly strong when they have all their abilities up, but they're going to be exceedingly weak when they are down. So there are big shifts in the laning phase. I cannot stress this enough. All right, that will wrap up my tip number 1 for playing Tristana. Okay, and getting into tip number 2, I really want to go over the numbers with you in the insane amount of power that is presented to Tristana at level 6. I just want to go over the maximum damage numbers to really show you where your potential lies and where you can get a lot of those early and mid-game kills going that a lot of other crit users do not have the ability to do that Tristana does. So let's start off. 300 damage from your ultimate, a huge, extremely strong ability at this level threshold. As you see, mages and ADCs are going to be around 1,000 health, so you're going to be doing 30% of their health with the Buster Shot. On top of your E, if you get it fully stacked up, it is going to be around 250, 300 damage. So that's 600. If you get the W, that's going to be around 700. If you get the Ignite, that's going to be around 900, right? And then if you get a couple auto attacks off, you get 5 auto attacks off. Maybe you just got a pickaxe because it's only at level 6. It's just going to be a full health bar. You are able to combo someone out completely from 90%, from 100% if they do not have flash and a getaway. So keep this in mind. This is a huge level of power. This is an amazing time to roam to bot lane if you are in the mid lane because of Tristana's ability to skirmish in the early game with the knock away and the W jump. You are pretty safe in roam. So keep this in mind. You can also push out the wave really quickly especially with explosive charge. So with Tristana, you really need to be looking to take advantage of your level 6. This is really where you can set up your late game hyper carry status with crit. If you are playing Tristana, you might have a little bit of a lull in the kind of the mid game, but you can bridge that extremely well if you look to take advantage of your extremely high base damages in the early game. You do not want to be taking a full all-in with Tristana without using your Buster Shot, in my opinion, because it's going to surprise a lot of people with its damage. It's only a 2-minute cooldown. What I really want to emphasize here is how many times are you taking all-ins with people in lane? You are not taking them less. I mean, maybe you're taking them every minute, but a 2-minute cooldown should be used at all times. This shouldn't be saved for a get-out-of-jail-free card if you are close to bursting someone out, particularly when you are playing in the mid lane. If you stack on top of maybe the press the attack, if you're going super aggressive like I do sometimes with sudden impact, you are just able to do an insane amount of damage with Tristana. Obviously, those damage numbers are going to be blunted by armor, but the people in the mid lane are going to have a really, really low health pool. Maybe you just take a quick all in, maybe you get like a 3-stack explosive charge and they're at 70%, and then you do your all in. It's just going to provide a lot of perfect timing. So please, please, please take advantage of this level 6 all in and then the previous level 3 all in that I was talking about. And that will wrap up tip number 2. All right, and let's jump into tip number 3. I want to talk about a very strong gank assist you can pull off when you are playing Tristana in the mid lane or even in bot lane, but I think this is going to be a little bit more prevalent in the mid lane when you are trying to provide as much utility to your jungler when they're trying to gank. And this is going to be very similar to what Azir does. And now what I mean by this is it's a very high risk, but it provides a huge reward, and you're able to do quite a bit with this. You want to make sure that you're not getting counter ganked, because you will be left very susceptible. But the idea of it is to get behind the enemy laner with the W and then R. Obviously, you can extend this with maybe you want to be very far out, maybe like around there, and then you flash, and then you can ult them under tower. This is going to be extremely effective when they are doing ganks. It's similar to a Lee Sin, getting a ward hop behind the enemy and kicking them back, or a Azir sec, right, where you do the shifting sands and then you do the Emperor's Divide and push them back. So the only thing with this, the issue with this is that you are going to be left very susceptible. You are not going to have your outs of your W and your R. So make sure that the enemy jungler, the worst case scenario, it's like a Kha'Zix that can just jump in and almost one-shot you while you've used all of your defensives and you're focusing on someone else. But please keep this in mind as a tool for assisting your ally jungler when they come for ganks, because you want to get the maximum amount of pressure or the maximum amount of gold you can possibly get when the jungler comes to help you. And that will wrap up tip number 3 for Tristana. Okay, and for tip number 4, I want to talk about some late game team fights and how you want to effectively play them out. Tristana really excels in front to back team fights, where if she is stronger than the other ADC and is able to shred the enemy frontline quicker than they are, she can really snowball and get the games going. Similar to something like a Lissandra, right? Where once you get a kill and you get a frozen thrall, you really get some added pressure. With Tristana, she gets an extra rocket jump reset, and she's really able to snowball the lead and reposition herself in the really good spots. Now, this is going to be a little bit troublesome at the start, but how you want to look to play it out at the beginning is to be at the max auto range and take full advantage of her draw a bead, because she has one of the longest auto attack ranges in the game. So you want to be attacking from max range, and then obviously you want to be orb walking around, right? So it's going to be harder to hit, you're going to be harder to hit with skill shots, or if you're looking to get engaged on by the tank. So always try and maintain this distance until you see that maybe their front line is starting to crumble, they're starting to run away, and then you want to maintain that tether and that range, right? So if they're running back, you want to run forward a little bit and make sure you're staying in auto attack range and looking for those W resets and to Goomba stomp on them. So how you want to look at this repositioning, you do not want to be like that famous Wild Turtle game, I think, where he just jumps in with Tristana, the W, and just gets one shot. So you really want to pay attention to high impact abilities that are going to be coming at you in team fights. This could be something like a Fizz ult ultimate. This could be something like a Z ultimate. If those aren't used, you really do not want to use your W until they are used, because those are going to put you in a really big threat. If you're jumping in after one kill, all of a sudden assassin turns around and blows you up because you weren't watching their cooldowns. So you have to be very, very cognizant. When you're playing a squishy champion like Tristana, you have to understand what is going on in the game and what cooldowns have been used. So these are kind of my basic tips for fighting with Tristana, but make sure to always pay attention to those. Again, if you guys have any questions about team fighting, I'll try my best to help you out. There's so many different cons. Like I think that's why it keeps a lot of us coming back to League of Legends, because the team fights just are so, there's like just millions of different ways they can be played out, and you can really have a lot of skill expression in those plays. But just as a basic rule of thumb, watch for ability usage and try and maintain the max range tether with Tristana when you are looking for the team fights. Obviously, this is going to be different if you're just like 2 or 3 items ahead of everyone else. You can just kind of be a frontline Tristana and do some crazy shit. But as a general rule of thumb for new players, maintain this maximum range tether. All right, and that will wrap up tip number 4. All right, and jumping into tip number 5. This is actually a little bit of a personal pet peeve that I have. With running an educational channel, I run into the same issue kind of over and over and over again. A lot of people come to me with kind of the same old story of, hey, I'm this amazing player that shouldn't be in the elo that I'm in because my teams suck, right? So Tristana is an amazing champion. How we solve this issue of thinking your team sucks and you're the only one doing well on your team, you have to spread your lead. This is a team game. If one person with all the resources gets one shot in the team fights because they misplayed, which is very, very common, your team is going to crumble. So with Tristana, she has a special ability that I want to talk to you guys about. If, say, you just destroy your lane, this guy dies, right? You want to take towers as quickly as possible, and this E really helps you with your ability to do extra damage with towers. So look to push down towers as much as possible to spread that lead, get your team extra gold. Also, she has great ability to push out lanes. So if you're unable to dive the enemy and you really need to start impacting the map, say your bot lane is that classic bot lane where they go 0-4, they're just getting double killed by Draven over and over again, but you're doing well, push out your lane. If you can get tower damage, or if maybe the enemy team has a Xerath where it's really hard to get tower damage because you're gonna just get poked out, push in your lane. Then we're roaming with Tristana and looking for ganks. This is how you're going to solve the problem of people just feeding on your team. You come down, you gank, right? You kill the enemy laners, and then you push the towers out. You should be extremely objective focused. You're similar to Ziggs with your ability to knock down towers and knock down minion waves extremely quickly. You need to take full advantage of a champion's kit if you are going to climb on them. So any Tristana players out there, I really don't want to hear the thing is, oh, my teammate feeds. This is extremely the same thing when you're playing bot lane. Say you have an 0-5 Jax that's just getting destroyed by Pantheon top lane, and you are the guy that always does well in lane, and it's only your team's issue. Push down your tower as quickly as possible. Win your all-ins because you're obviously such a superior player. Then roam top. Switch lanes with them, get them out of that shitty lane, cause a little bit of chaos, and start pushing the enemy team's towers down. This is how you win games, is you take objectives. You don't just kill the same laner over and over and over again. That's going to give you diminishing returns on gold, and really they are containing you to some extent to a certain lane around the map where you aren't helping with Herald, you aren't helping with Dragons. So always look to pressure other parts of the map, and this is extremely important with any Tristana player, is you need to be attacking towers. You need to be attacking objectives because you are extremely strong at most parts in the game. I know that it might have felt a little bit ranty there, but I feel like Tristana is in just a really special position where she can take objectives very quickly, push out lanes extremely quickly, and take advantage of the dead time. Also, when you push in when you push people into towers, you can obviously look for roams, right? If your ally jungler wants to invade, which happens quite a bit, you can look to pressure the enemy jungler off their red buff, right? And also you can look for maybe just a ward over the wall, wait for them to come to the red, and attack them there. When you're playing Tristana mid lane, you are going to have a level advantage on the enemy jungler, and they are usually going to be low from clearing those camps. So look to take full advantage of her mobility to get out after she gets a kill. Maybe you're getting, they're going to follow up with it. You have just all the tools at your disposal to carry games with Tristana. That's why I really want to make this video, because I think that she's in just such a great spot right now. Very easy to execute. I'd say the easiest to execute crit marksman user in the game. Obviously, she's not going to be as easy as something like Misfortune, but she can really do her job she has a very low skill ceiling. If you don't know what that means, she has a very low level to entry in playing her at a decent clip, where something like Vayne would have an extremely high skill floor, where you had to play at a pretty high level just to maintain what maybe you could have done on Tristana extremely easy. So that's going to wrap up my video, guys. If you have any questions for me, again, you can hit me up on my Discord, or you can just comment down below, or come to one of my streams and I'll try and help you out live, or maybe do a live OPGG review. Whatever you guys need. Take it easy and keep tuned. I'm gonna try and release a couple more videos. I'm gonna start adding more gameplay to the videos. If you're interested in Kled at all, I did a video on Kled recently where I added a bunch of highlights, if that's more your thing. I do kind of like these practice tool tutorials as well, but we'll kind of see how they both perform, and we'll judge accordingly on which one I am going to do more. All right.